Tang San smiled slightly and bowed to the Grandmaster, Flender, and Lu Erlong. Teacher, I'm sorry to have worried you. Actually, Senior Dugu didn't mean any harm when he captured me. He just examined the unique poison properties contained within my 8 spider lances. Seeing my outstanding talent, Senior Dugu decided to teach me some knowledge about poison martial souls. But why did you clash with Senior Dugu? Upon hearing Tang San's words, not only the Grandmaster and his 2 companions, but even Dugu Bo were stunned. None of them had expected Tang San to say that. The Grandmaster looked at Tang San with some doubt. He couldn't see any flaws in his disciple's expression. Is that really so? But just now, Senior Dugu said he had already killed you. Tang San smiled and said, that must have been a joke from Senior Dugu. With his status and position, why would he harm someone as insignificant as me? Dugu Bo watched Tang San's back, various emotions surfacing in his heart. Everyone likes to hear compliments, and Tang San's words effectively concealed the truth for him. Especially hearing Tang San's last sentence made Dugu Bo's old face turn a bit red. Indeed, given his status and position, it would be shameful to trouble someone as young as Tang San. Tang San turned to look at Dugu Bo, still smiling. By the way, Senior Dugu, you mentioned yesterday that you would tell me about the characteristics of the poison in Dugu Yan's body. I discovered that her poison can indeed be neutralized. Why don't we discuss it later? Upon hearing Tang San mention Dugu Yan, Dugu Bo was immediately taken aback. He realized that Tang San was indicating he had found a way to treat his granddaughter's severe poison. With Tang San's light-hearted banter, Dugu Bo's mood gradually calmed down. Weighing the pros and cons, his intention to kill slowly receded. He realized that killing the 4 people in front of him would not only be unbeneficial, but also bring considerable trouble. Not to mention the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan backing Lu Erlong and the Grandmaster, the father of Tang San was a big enough headache. From Tang San's talent and the tone of the Grandmaster and others, Dugu Bo could naturally guess that they were not lying, especially since they believed Tang San was already dead at that time. And if he didn't kill them, with Tang San's cover-up, the hostility would naturally dissipate. If this boy could indeed neutralize the poisons afflicting him and Yen Yen, it would be a good thing. Dugu Bo, being as cunning as he was, quickly understood this. The coldness on his face disappeared, and he said naturally, all right, let's discuss it later. I didn't expect your teachers to care so much about you. I tested their strength just now and almost suffered a loss. Flender and his companions exchanged glances, hardly believing their ears. They had clearly felt the intense killing intent from Dugu Bo earlier, but now this old monster claimed it was just a test? Dugu Bo walked to Tang San's side and affectionately ruffled his hair. Your disciple is indeed outstanding. Frankly, I want to take him as my heir. I have never explained myself to anyone, but today, for this boy, I'll make an exception. I just wanted to test if you were qualified to be his teachers. You did well. Although your strength isn't top-notch, your willingness to die for a friend is admirable. These last words of Dugu Bo were not entirely insincere. Despite his typically narrow-minded nature and doing things based on his preferences, he did admire the Grandmaster and his companions for their willingness to face death calmly. Looking at the calm-faced Dugu Bo, Flender suddenly felt a mix of emotions. Glancing at Dugu Bo's affectionate demeanor towards Tang San, he couldn't quite understand what was going on. Tang San said, teacher, you should go back first. Senior Dugu's attainments in poison are profound. My blue silver grass also possesses poison, and I want to learn from him for a while. Is that okay? The Grandmaster looked at Tang San with suspicion. He knew Dugu Bo's status in the realm of poison soul masters. If he genuinely wanted to teach Tang San, it would indeed be a great opportunity. But the Grandmaster still found the situation strange. Dugu Bo's change in attitude was too drastic. However, people tend to fear death. Since Dugu Bo had explained, they couldn't question him further.
Dugubo smiled indifferently.
What? Are you worried about leaving Xiaosan with me? Afraid I'll steal your disciple? Rest assured, I have already acknowledged your qualification as his teachers and won't compete with you. This child's talent surprises me. I'll return him to you in half a year to a year, completely intact. Though our time together has been short, I genuinely like this boy. Flender exchanged a glance with the Grandmaster, then respectfully saluted Dugubo. Poison Dolua's word is as good as gold. Since you said so, everything earlier was just a misunderstanding. On behalf of the three of us, I apologize for our previous impulsiveness. It's Xiaosan's luck to learn from you. However, this child has been with us for many years and is like our own child. Can we visit him while he's learning from you? Dugubo replied indifferently, of course, but not too frequently. Hearing this, the golden iron triangle finally felt at ease. The Grandmaster nodded to Dugubo. In that case, we'll trouble you, senior. Dugubo glanced at Tang San beside him and said calmly, it's no trouble at all. With a wave of his hand, 3 pills fell into the hands of the golden iron triangle. Hold this pill in your mouth as you leave, and you won't be affected by my poison array. This pill can be reused. Remember it next time you come. Flender smiled. In that case, we 3 juniors will take our leave. We'll visit you another day. Dugubo nodded and didn't stop them, letting them leave. Before departing, the Grandmaster gave Tang San a meaningful look but said nothing, heading down the mountain with Flender's help. Although their soul power was somewhat depleted, they could still safely exit the Sunset Forest with caution. Watching them leave, Dugubo withdrew his hand from Tang San's head and said coldly, boy, why did you cover for me? Do I need it? Tang San turned to look at Dugubo. It's part of our deal. You promised to do 3 things for me. Did you forget?
Dugubo sneifert.
That's only if you can detoxify me and Yen Yen. But I'm increasingly doubting you're only 13. You're like a little monster. Time's almost up. If you can't pass my test, you'll still die. Tang San suddenly laughed. Old monster, didn't you say you always keep your promises? You just told my teachers you'd return me to them intact. Dugubo glared at him. I did say that. But a corpse can also be intact. You. Tang San stared at him in astonishment, but Dugubo was already heading up the mountain. In truth, when Dugubo had withdrawn his killing intent, he had already decided to spare the golden iron triangle and Tang San. When he captured Tang San, he hadn't anticipated that these people had such powerful backers, even ones that would trouble him. Killing Tang San would bring him no benefit, only endless trouble. Although he acted according to his whims, he wasn't a madman with no concerns. Thus, Dugubo had decided that even if Tang San couldn't pass his test and detoxify him and his granddaughter, he wouldn't kill him. He genuinely liked Tang San, and the boy's performance in such a short time had made him admire his talent. After descending the mountain, the 3 didn't hurry to leave. With Dugubo's poison array protecting the mountain and the sea of spirit beasts outside, they decided to rest at the foot of the mountain. Flender lowered his voice and said to the Grandmaster, Xiao Gang, do you think Dugubo really wants to teach Xiaosan? The feeling of surviving a disaster was indeed pleasant, but calming down, he still felt something was off. The Grandmaster shook his head. There's definitely something wrong. But given Dugubo's status, unless there's a special reason, why would he be so close to Xiaosan? And he seems somewhat wary of Xiaosan's words. Flender nodded. But in any case, Xiaosan shouldn't be in immediate danger. Otherwise, Dugubo wouldn't have let us go. Especially now that he knows Xiaosan's background, if he harms Xiaosan, he'd be inviting disaster. Being a titled Dolua, he's naturally a smart person who wouldn't willingly take on such a big trouble. The Grandmaster sighed. We can only hope for that now. Let's not tell the others about this after we return. Just say Xiaosan is in secluded cultivation. We don't want to affect the other kids' training, and we need to keep this matter secret for now. Unless we find Xiaosan's father, we shouldn't act rashly. The power of a title Doluo is indeed beyond our capability to deal with. Lu Erlong's eyes flashed coldly. It's a pity. If we were a bit stronger and had reached the level of Soul Doluo, we might have killed that old monster with our martial soul fusion technique. The master shook his head. It's not that easy. Didn't you notice that Dugu Bo seemed to be holding back when he fought us earlier? If he had used his full strength, we wouldn't have lasted that long. Flender nodded. Once we get back, we should immediately mobilize our people to find Tang San's father. If we can bring him here, it won't matter what Dugu Bo's intentions are. The three had partially recovered their soul power and, with the pills given by Dugu Bo in their mouths, started heading out of the sunset forest. Dugu Bo returned to the ice and fire Yin Yang well. Tang San, with the help of the 8 spider lances, had not fallen behind. By now, the sky was gradually brightening. After a night of turmoil, a faint hint of fatigue showed on Dugu Bo's aged face. Despite his strength being far superior to the trio's, the arrival of the Golden Iron Triangle had coincided with a period when he was suffering daily torment worse than death. The subsequent battle had also brought him significant pressure. Though his soul power remained abundant, his physical stamina had declined somewhat. After all, age takes its toll on physical strength. Dugu Bo glanced at Tang San and the 8 spider lances behind him. A kid, did you eat something? Don't blame me for not warning you. The medicinal properties of the herbs here are much stronger than ordinary ones. Even tonic herbs might be lethal. Tang San smiled faintly. Old monster, since when do you care so much about me? Don't you wish I were dead? Dugu Bo's face turned cold. Indeed, if you fail my test, you will still die. Time's up. Are you ready? Tang San calmly walked 3 steps to the spring and stood still. Go ahead. Dugu Bo looked at him in confusion. Are you really ready? Tang San nodded again and gestured invitingly. Dugu Bo snorted, flicking his right middle finger lightly at Tang San. A wisp of pale green smoke silently approached. Dugu Bo, a master of poison, seemed to be using a simple poison attack, yet the green mist spread instantly, enveloping Tang San. Tang San stood there without moving. Old monster, this is your first test, right? Hurry up with the second one. Your bile phosphorus snake poison is so weak, it's useless. Dugu Bo was stunned. The scene before him defied his understanding of poison. Tang San hadn't taken any antidote. He just stood there, chatting as the green mist dissipated without any sign of poisoning. The green mist released by Dugu Bo was merely a probing attack, easily neutralized, but he hadn't expected Tang San to handle it so effortlessly. Though he had decided not to kill Tang San, his pride in his poison expertise was challenged. Feeling competitive, Dugu Bo's eyes gleamed with green light. With a flip of his hand, a small green snake appeared in his palm. The second test, let it bite you once. He tossed the snake towards Tang San. The reason Tang San had easily resisted Dugu Bo's first poison mist was simple. His earlier steps had placed him within the protective range of the Qiluo Immortal product. Even if Dugu Bo had used his strongest poison, it wouldn't have harmed Tang San. Tang San saw that Dugu Bo did not fully understand the herbs here. However, the second test was harder to resist. The Qiluo Immortal product could only block external poison. Once the poison entered the bloodstream, it couldn't help. With a flip of his wrist, Tang San caught the small green snake in his palm. The nearly transparent snake, about 5 inches long, glowed green and had bright red eyes. It looked adorable but was highly venomous, with 9 bamboo-like segments on its body. It wriggled in Tang San's palm and bit down. The little green snake's body twitched. It couldn't penetrate Tang San's skin. Despite its venomous nature, Tang San's mysterious jade hand was impervious to toxins and incredibly tough, beyond the snake's ability to harm. Tang San pinched the snake by its seventh segment, lifting it up. Old monster, you're quite ruthless. This is a rare 9-segment jade green bamboo snake. Its venom can turn someone into pus in moments. Though small, it's one of the most poisonous snakes and extremely tough. Dugubo was surprised that Tang San handled the snake so easily. The 9-segment jade green bamboo snake was quick and fiercely aggressive, yet it hadn't bitten Tang San. The snake was subdued within the Yoxiang Qiluo Immortal products range and further hindered by Tang San's mysterious jade hand. This is my second test. Let it bite you and draw blood. Dare you? Dugubo's poison techniques could easily neutralize the jade green bamboo snake's venom, thanks to his advanced martial soul, the bile phosphorus snake emperor. Tang San smiled. I have no problem letting it bite me. But, Senior Dugu, how about a deal? If it bites me and I'm fine, you give me this snake. Dugubo was speechless. Others feared his poisons, but this boy not only wasn't afraid, but also wanted to keep the snake. You called me old monster, now it's senior? Tang San grinned. I need a favor from you. What do you think? Dugubo, irritated, replied, You really are a little monster. Fine, let it bite you. If you're okay, it's yours. He couldn't believe a boy of Tang San's age could withstand the snake's venom. The 9-segment jade green bamboo snake was precious. Confident in its lethality, Dugubo planned to detoxify Tang San if needed, reclaiming the snake. Tang San showed caution, took a deep breath, and circulated his mysterious heaven skill, bringing the snake to his forearm. The snake, frustrated by its failed attempts to bite Tang San's hand, eagerly bit into his arm. The bite was painless, just a slight numbness and itchiness spreading rapidly. In moments, Tang San's arm turned green. Seeing this, Dugubo smiled. A boy, knowing the 9-segment jade green bamboo snake, didn't you realize its venom? You. He stepped forward to detoxify Tang San, but stopped as Tang San's green arm returned to normal quickly, the skin glowing like jade. Even more astonishing, the snake fell unconscious in Tang San's hand. Dugubo, a title Dolua, rubbed his eyes in disbelief. Tang San calmly reminded him, Senior Dugu, you didn't see wrong. I passed your second test, right? The snake is mine now. Dugubo, stunned, asked, how did you do that? He had never seen such a reaction to poison. Tang San, still smiling, gently stroked the unconscious snake. Senior Dugu, let's proceed with the third test. Dugubo's face grew serious. He began to believe this boy might indeed have the ability to detoxify him and his granddaughter. Yet, his pride in his poison skills remained, reluctant to admit defeat. 9 soul rings rose around him, their light intense but without pressure. Seeing the impressive rings, Tang San admired the control of a title Dolua, who could manage his aura perfectly. Dugubo's nails lengthened to 3 inches, sharp and glowing with a rainbow of colors. Tang Than, you must think carefully. The poison I'm about to use is beyond my control. If you regret it now, there's still time. I can still spare your life and let you try to remove the poison's backlash. Tang San looked at Dugubo's hand, his expression becoming serious. He placed the 9-segment jade into his chest pocket, knowing that Dugubo was about to use his deadliest poison, the poison of the Jade Phosphor Serpent Emperor. Given his current cultivation level, it would indeed be difficult to resist such a potent poison. However, Dugubo's words also ignited Tang San's pride. As a member of the Tang sect, should he back down in the face of poison? No, as a disciple of the Tang sect, if he couldn't even overcome poison, he didn't deserve to bear the name Tang. With this thought, Tang San pondered briefly, then reached into the large flower of the jade phosphor iris, before stepping up to Dugubo and raising his left arm. Go ahead. Dugubo frowned. Are you sure about this? Tang San nodded firmly. A cold gleam flashed in Dugubo's eyes. He thought, do you really think I'm just a sick cat? After so many years of cultivating poison, I can't handle a young one like you. With a flick of his fingertips pierced Tang San's arm. Almost instantly, a black aura rapidly spread from the puncture point, swiftly moving upward. Tang San quickly pressed his right hand on the wound, retreating a few steps while he still had control of his movements. He returned to the protective range of the jade phosphor iris, sat cross-legged, closed his eyes, and began to channel his Shention skill. At this moment, he was not circulating his Shention skill to expel the poison. Even if it were the poison from the 9-segment jade earlier, his current level of Shention skill wouldn't be able to neutralize it. The purpose of circulating his own power was to speed up his blood flow. For most people, doing this when poisoned would accelerate death. But Tang San did this to activate the medicinal power of the 8-petal ice grass and the fiery apricot. Like the effect of the ice and fire yin-yang well, these two herbs, when ingested, would change his constitution through their extreme properties. If Tang San could fully absorb these two herbs, he would become immune to all poisons. Of course, he still had a long way to go to reach this goal. After the 9-segment jade bit him, the herbs in his body neutralized the poison. The 9-segment jade fainted after ingesting some of Tang San's blood, which contained the medicinal properties of the herbs. Fortunately, this blood was already neutralized. Otherwise, the rare poisonous creature would have exploded and died immediately. If Tang San could fully absorb the properties of these two herbs, he wouldn't fear Dugubo's jade phosphor serpent emperor poison. But he couldn't achieve this yet. To resist Dugubo's potent poison, he had to rely on external forces. Tang San wouldn't joke with his life. When he made his decision, he already had a plan. The jade phosphor iris couldn't neutralize internal poisons, but its properties could slow the poison's onset and suppress it to some extent. Tang San had smeared its pollen on his wound immediately after being poisoned. The pollen of the jade phosphor iris could neutralize all poisons. Although it wasn't enough to neutralize the jade phosphor serpent emperor poison, it could weaken it. Combined with the 8-petal ice grass and the fiery apricot's effects, Tang San's body became a battleground for a deadly struggle between poisons.
Yugu bo wat chek tang sang silenti.
Even he wasn't sure he could neutralize his own jade phosphor serpent emperor poison. Seeing Tang San's blackened face, he began to regret his actions. Fighting a child after so many years of renown could cause serious trouble if Tang San died here. Thinking of the man behind Tang San, Tang Hao, whom even he couldn't provoke, gave him a headache. As Dugubo's mind was in turmoil, Tang San's body began to change. A faint red light emerged from beneath his skin, followed by white light, alternating clearly. The previously spreading black aura was held back by these red and white lights, unable to continue spreading. The 8 spider lances emerged from Tang San's back. In his struggle against the poison, Tang San couldn't control his spirit or spirit bone. The 8 spider lances were vivid, not just in color, but also in their appearance. The blue silver grass within Tang San also emerged, its color changing from blue-purple to a pattern matching the 8 spider lances, alternating red and white, looking dazzling and eerie, resembling venomous snakes forming a cage around Tang San. Dugubo was shocked to see a small black hammer slowly emerging from Tang San's left hand. Yes, they hadn't lied. That hammer, although small, was indeed the renowned clear sky hammer. The poison in Tang San's body was slowly forced out by the full operation of his Shention skill and the medicinal properties of the two herbs. Unbeknownst to Tang San, he was benefiting from this misfortune. The medicinal properties of the 8-petal ice grass and the fiery apricot were incredibly potent. Although not the best in the ice and fire yin-yang well, their combined effects made them top tier. Tang San would need to reach level 70 soul power to fully integrate these herbs. But now, the stimulation from the Jade Phosphor Serpent Emperor poison had accelerated his absorption. By the time the Jade Phosphor Serpent Emperor poison was expelled, Tang San had absorbed 30% of the herb's properties. This was closely related to his overnight soak in the extreme divine spring of the ice and fire yin yang well. Dugu Bo's face was uncertain as he looked at Tang San. Renowned for his poison, he realized why this boy could resist his potent poison. When he first captured Tang San, the boy clearly didn't have this ability. His spirit and external spirit bone had changed after arriving here, indicating that he had ingested something to resist the poison. Since discovering the ice and fire yin yang well, Dugu Bo had found many unknown herbs. He had tried some, suffering unforgettable pain. If not for his high cultivation, he would have died. Since then, Dugu Bo only took herbs he recognized from the area. He couldn't believe that a boy of just over 10 years could recognize these herbs. He knew these herbs might contain treasures, but he, as a titled Doluo, wouldn't take the risk. Looking at Tang San, Dugu Bo thought of only one phrase: "Ye blessed by heaven." Despite the boy's abilities, Dugu Bo could still easily kill him, but Tang San's age was his greatest advantage. His potential was boundless.
Dugu Bo sighed inwardly.
If only his granddaughter were closer in age to Tang San, he would have tried to match them, even resorting to force if necessary. The red and white lights gradually faded from Tang San's skin, the small black hammer returned to his body, followed by the 8 spider lances, and finally the blue silver grass. Tang San's complexion returned to normal. Thank you, Senior, for sparing me." Tang San jumped up, a slight smile returning to his face. Although he had neutralized the Jade Phosphor Serpent Emperor poison, Tang San knew Dugu Bo had only used a small amount. The poison strength and amount were directly proportional. No matter how potent, an insufficient amount wouldn't be lethal. Dugu Bo had shown mercy, which Tang San had anticipated. Seeing Dugu Bo give antidotes and release his 3 companions, Tang San knew he wouldn't easily kill him. This was a key reason for his risk in opposing the Jade Phosphor Serpent Emperor poison. Having survived this first encounter, his resistance to poison greatly increased. Next time, Dugu Bo would find it much harder to poison him.